Once upon a time, in the small town of Summit, two desperate men named Sam and Bill hatched a plan to get rich quick. Their scheme involved kidnapping the son of a wealthy man and demanding a hefty ransom for his safe return. Little did they know that the mischievous boy they chose to abduct would turn their world upside down. Johnny Dorset, better known as Red Chief due to his unruly shock of red hair, was the target of Sam and Bill's misguided plot. The duo, convinced they could make a fortune from his father's pockets, snatched the boy one quiet evening and whisked him away to a hideout in a secluded cave. As the two criminals tied Red Chief to a tree, they couldn't help but pat themselves on the back for their cunning plan. However, their self-congratulatory moment was short-lived. Red Chief, with a mischievous glint in his eye, looked at them and said, "If you don't untie me right now, my dad will give you a thrashing you'll never forget." Sam and Bill exchanged nervous glances. This was not the reaction they expected. The plan was simple: kidnap, demand ransom, and release the boy. But Red Chief was proving to be a handful. Days passed, and the dynamic between the captors and their captive became increasingly absurd. Red Chief, far from being scared or distressed, took great pleasure in tormenting Sam and Bill. He played pranks, told wild stories, and sang loudly to keep them awake at night. Desperation set in for Sam and Bill. They realized that they were the ones held hostage by a relentless, energetic, and imaginative child. The idea of ransom seemed like a distant dream as Red Chief continued to turn their lives into a chaotic comedy. One day, as Sam and Bill contemplated their next move, Red Chief approached them with a proposition. "How about you pay me a ransom to go back home?" he suggested, grinning mischievously. The absurdity of the situation was not lost on Sam and Bill. They found themselves negotiating with their captive for their own freedom. Red Chief was relentless in his demands, making sure he got the better end of the deal. Eventually, the desperate kidnappers agreed to pay Red Chief's requested ransom, which included a considerable sum of money, a horse, and a pair of fancy boots. They couldn't pack up and leave fast enough, eager to escape the clutches of the pint-sized terror they had unwittingly unleashed. As Sam and Bill trudged back to Summit, they couldn't help but reflect on the irony of their failed scheme. They had intended to make a fortune, but instead, they found themselves lighter in the pocket and heavier in regret. Red Chief's laughter echoed in their ears, a constant reminder of their ill-fated venture. Upon returning to Summit, Sam and Bill sheepishly approached Red Chief's father, Mr. Dorset, with the ransom. Expecting anger and resentment, they were surprised to find Mr. Dorset chuckling at the tale of their misadventure. He explained that Red Chief was a handful even for him and that the ransom they paid was a small price to pay for the temporary relief from his son's antics. The two criminals, now thoroughly humbled, left Summit with empty pockets and bruised egos. Red Chief's laughter followed them like a ghost, a haunting reminder of their misguided pursuit of fortune. As they disappeared into the horizon, they couldn't help but wonder if the real ransom was the lesson they learned about the unpredictability of life. And so, the tale of the ransom of Red Chief became a cautionary story told around Summit. A reminder that sometimes the pursuit of wealth can lead to unexpected and humorous consequences. The small town, once the stage for a misguided kidnapping, returned to its quiet existence, with the memory of Red Chief's antics serving as a perpetual source of amusement and wisdom.